If you've ever felt that tense feeling before a meeting or uncomfortable in a group, listen to this sentence. I am socially awkward and socially undesirable in work or social situations. As you hear that statement, just notice what happens in your body. For some people, that sentence doesn't feel harsh. It feels very familiar. And that's because it isn't a fact, it is a conclusion that you have arrived at. Most people don't remember deciding this about themselves. It forms quietly after enough awkward interactions, enough times feeling overlooked, or like everyone else got a manual on how to navigate social situations that you never received. See, your mind tries to explain the discomfort, and eventually it lands on one simple story: it's me. I'm the problem. But that sentence doesn't describe who you are. It describes what your nervous system has learned to expect. When you walk into a room already bracing yourself for rejection, your body tightens, your timing shifts, your words come out short, clipped, or delayed. Not because you're socially awkward, but because you're operating under fear, under threat. The belief doesn't just describe the experience, it begins to shape it. Over time, the sentence stops sounding like a thought and starts sounding like your identity. But beliefs like this aren't discovered overnight, they are rehearsed over and over, repeated often enough with enough emotional weight until they feel permanent, like your identity, like who you are. The work isn't to replace this sentence with a positive one. That's usually going to backfire. The work is to notice. This is the sentence that my mind reaches for when I feel exposed, when I feel vulnerable, when I feel anxious in a social situation. Because when a belief becomes visible, it stops being the narrator or the only narrator and becomes just one voice in the room, one voice in your head. You don't need to prove that you're socially skilled. You don't need to convince yourself that you're desirable. You just need to stop confusing a learned expectation with a permanent truth, a permanent identity. And that shift alone changes how you walk into a room. All right? Just a reminder. See you in the next one.